Welcome to a new worksheet. Why did the river guide carry a rifle? Find the perimeter of each figure. Cross out the box containing each correct answer. When you finish, write the letters from the remaining boxes in the spaces at the bottom of the page. So once we find the answer, we'll come down here, mark it out, and then whatever letters are left over, we write in order down here at the bottom. So if ST is left, we would write S and then a T, and we would keep going across the top row and then across the bottom row in order to find the answer to our question. Now in this case, we are looking for perimeter. Perimeter means the outside edges. So that means we need to add up all of our outside edges. So if we have 13 in this triangle for number 1, we have 13 centimeters, 18 centimeters, and 10 centimeters. For perimeter, you just want to add up all the sides. So it would be 13 plus 18 plus 10. Now remember, because we're dealing with just addition, it doesn't matter the order in which you add them, right? We have a whole law, a property, the commutative property of addition, that says it doesn't matter which way we add them, you just have to add all the pieces. So if we take our handy dandy calculator and clear that bad boy out, we will say 13 plus 18 plus 10. 13 plus 18 plus 10 straight across, and we get our equals, and it's 41. So the answer for this equals 41 centimeters. And again, perimeter means to add up all the edges, all the side pieces. So that's 41. So what we would do is we'll come down here and we look, where's our 41? Oh, there it is. And so we will mark out, wow. Okay, let's try that again. All right, so we'll mark out just the 41. There we go. I got it now. And then whatever's left over, you write down here. So pretty simple, yeah? That's perimeter. Perimeter is probably the easiest that you'll find when it comes to area versus perimeter. Area, you have formulas, you got to multiply and blah, blah, blah. Perimeter is just adding up all the pieces. The only thing that could be difficult is if you're not giving a piece, you know, if you're not given like one of the sides and you have to figure it out. But on this worksheet, since we're just starting out, you're going to be given all the pieces that you need. So it doesn't matter if it's a triangle or this crazy looking quadrilateral over here, right? You would just add up all the pieces. Even if it's a funky shape, like two shapes stuck together, like this L, right? Technically, we could say, well, we have this square over here and then a long rectangle, or we could have a square at the top and a long rectangle at the bottom. Either which way, when we're looking for perimeter, you just add up all the pieces. Please make sure you do use all the pieces when you're adding them together. So let's try out number 5, because that one looks a little intense, I guess. A little harder maybe than some of the other ones. So maybe the easiest way, put a little check mark or wherever you start and just go around in a circle. Somehow keep track of all the numbers you're adding. So I'm going to start here at the top. We have 0.9. Plus, we have another 0.9 here, so I use that one. Another one. Now, I will tell you guys, you know, if you have a lot of the same number, you can use multiplication, right? Because that's just adding over and over and over again, what they call repeated addition. That's all multiplying really is. But I'm absolutely okay with you going through and doing it the good old-fashioned way, writing them all down. Because see, like this, we have 1, 2, 3, we have 4 0.9s. So if you just wanted to say 0.9 times 4, get one number and then have your other two, I'm okay with that. Just make sure you show me all your work. Now here, you can do work inside. Oh, let me get rid of this. Sorry, guys. You can do the work inside each space. I'm okay with that, but you do need to show me how you got your answer. All right, so we've done our 0.9s. Let's go. We have a 1.8 here. And we have another 1.8. You just want to make sure that you check all the sides, because you don't missing one piece. That's the difference between a right versus wrong answer. So it looks like we have our top, our side piece, our bottom piece, another side, another bottom, and this side. We've got all our pieces. So I'm going to grab the calculator. Okay, and we're just going to add them all up. There's 1, 2, 3 0.9s, and a 4 0.9, and now we have 2 1.8s, 1 more 0.8, and equals, and we get 7.2. Alright, you guys see what I did? All I did was add them up. 0.9, 0.9, 0.9, another 0.9, plus 1.8 plus another 1.8. You add them all up and you get your 7.2. The trickiest thing I think with doing it, with perimeter and having to add lots of pieces is make sure you don't hit a wrong button in your calculator. Wouldn't hurt to try and do it twice just to double check your own work, especially if you don't find your answer at the bottom. That probably means you just hit a button wrong rather than you didn't do the actual problem correctly. So we know this is 7.2 meters, and we'll come down to the bottom and we'll find, let's scroll up just a wee bit. Alright, and we'll find our 7.2 right there, and we'll mark that out. Remember, we already had 41, so that was marked out from earlier. So these two are now marked off. Okay, I think that's pretty easy. I'm going to clear the screen. Here we go. And let's just look at our word down here, word problems and whatnot. It says find the perimeter of each rectangle. So this is telling you all these problems are rectangles. So like 10, 11, and 12, it doesn't have a picture. But what do we know about rectangles? We know that the top and bottom are the same, and left to right are the same. It's not a square. They're not all the same. But the top and the bottom are what we call congruent in the math world, right? That means the same size. And left to right is the same size. So now you can add perimeter. 60 plus 40, 60 plus... You got to add them all, because if you only added 60 plus 40 once, well, then you're missing two of the sides. So another good way to think about it is you should have 4 numbers that you're adding together for a rectangle, any quadrilateral. Rectangle, square, what else do we have? Parallelograms, quadrilaterals, rhombuses, any of that stuff. If you're looking, and again, it's only for perimeter here. The other areas, all that stuff, we have formulas for. But if you're just looking for the perimeter, if it's a rectangle or any quadrilateral, anything that has 4 sides, you should have 4 numbers. So let's grab our calculator. Some of you might be able to do this in your head. That's, add it up, and that's not a problem if you write the work down. But using a calculator just to double check never hurts. I mean, yes, I know that this is 200 even before I do it, but still, it's always good to double check. So 60 plus 40 is 100, plus another 60 plus 40 is 100, so that's 200 altogether, and my calculator agrees with me. It's brilliant. So this is going to be 200. That is an interesting looking number right there. There we go, a little better. 200. So then I would come down here, mark out my 200. Okay? For 10, 11, and 12, it might help to just go ahead, do a rough sketch of a rectangle, just so you remember to put it on all sides. Now look at this, number 12. The length and the width are the same, so this is a special rectangle called a square. Yep, you got it. It's a square. All the sides are the same. So we would just add up 12 plus 12 plus 12 plus 12, which would give us 48. And so I could also mark out my 48. So I'm giving you guys all kinds of answers. All right, so for 10, 11, and 12, I would draw a rectangle and just mark it just to be on the safe side while we're getting started with this stuff. Let's look at 13 and 14 since they're word problems. Number 13, find the perimeter, okay, so we're going to add here, of a sheet of typing paper 8.5 inches wide and 11 inches long. So if you guys, I'll put it over here, you know, this is your regular sheet of blank white paper, right? And it's going to be 8.5 inches wide. Now, yes, I would recommend using a decimal because 8.5 in a calculator, right? So 1 divided by 2 will tell you the decimal. 8.5, so 8.5. And 11 inches long, so this is 11. Now, we want the perimeter, so I'm going to go ahead and label all my sides. And this is 11 on this side, right? Top and bottom are congruent, aka the same. Left to right are the same. And then you'd add them all up, which I think you can do on your own. Number 14, how many feet of border are needed to go around a square bulletin board that is 4.5 feet on each side? Well, this is important. Okay, normally when we're looking for border, right, border goes around, and I know you guys learned back in 6th grade, if it goes around, that means perimeter. So it doesn't say the word perimeter in the question, but it talks about border. And a border is something that goes around, right? Just like if, you know, if you're doing Facebook or whatever and you see those profile pictures and you can add borders to it, the same thing with, you know, any sort of filter feature, you can add borders to it. And a border is something that goes around the picture. It doesn't cover the picture, right? Like you can't see your face. That would be area. This goes around the picture. So it's a square bulletin board. This is another piece of important information, the fact that it's square, because that tells us that each side is going to be the same. And these little dash marks that you see on some figures, this tells you what is the same. So that means that all 4 sides are going to be 4.5 feet. It also says on each side, so it gives you even more of a hint that you need to put 4.5 on each. Now you will see on your formula sheet that they have a formula for perimeter of a square that says 4S, which is just 4 times the side length. Again, like we talked about with those 0.9s at the top, rather than adding them over and over and over again, the easier way is multiplication. Just like if we look up here at number 6, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 sides, and they're all 24 inches. So you could take your calculator and say 24 plus 24 plus 24, etc. Or you could just say 6 times 24 and get the same thing, because multiplying is just adding over and over and over again. So that's why you might see a different formula on your sheet with that 4S. That just means 4 times the side length. But anyway, you can add this up, multiply, take one side, multiply it by 4, whatever floats your boat. Just write your work down so we know what you did, and then you cross out the correct answer. I think that's all I have. Remember, the entire sheet is about perimeter, so just adding up all the sides. Make sure that if it doesn't have a side marked, that you mark it so that you know, ooh, that's a 5, what each side is supposed to be. Okay, and that way if you mark it incorrectly and a teacher's like, well, how did you get that answer wrong? They can look and see that, oh, well, you're just having problems marking the links the right side. It's not like you don't know how to add. You just need help with that part. So it's important to show your work, not only to help you get the right answer, but to help your teachers help you if you get the wrong answer. Okay, I hope that makes sense. That's all I have for this worksheet. If you have any other questions, ask a teacher.